It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Some Zanzi and all of you beautiful souls, we are straight back into it. It's your feel-good breakfast show and we're carrying on with an incredible conversation. The theme is discipline and we are helping you achieve the most incredible goals that you are destined for. And I know with so many of you, you struggle to stay on track without goals and with living mindfully and sticking to routines. Jumbling this all up, it can be difficult to manage. But what if I told you there was a way to help with all of this? Oh yes, today we're going to be chatting to a life coach. Warren Munitz is in the building to share some absolute secrets that you want to pay attention to. Get the pencil and pad out and take notes down right now. Good morning, Warren. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm good, thanks.
I'm excited for your nuggets. Let's get it.
I think for a life coach, a motivational speaker, you don't have a choice. You've got to be on it, bud, because you are here.
Yeah.
You live in the moment. And there is a great joy in being able to make these connections and kind of be in that space. But you also live at that point where I think people are either achieving or not achieving their goals. It's quite a definitive thing. Why do we find it so difficult to stick to goals? Let me use the New Year's resolution as a conduit for this. Why are goals often like that?
Yeah, it's interesting because, you know, we often think about, let's create a New Year's resolution and I'm going to exercise every day.
Because there's an apparent need for that.
Right. You know, but the reality is that when you change your goal, you actually don't realize you're choosing a different lifestyle. You're choosing a different character. You are the sum of your habits.
Yeah.
So unless you are okay with changing who you are, you're not going to be able to change that outcome. That goal that you want to change, there's many little steps that lead all the way back to you. So your habits, your character, your thoughts, your whole reality must change.
Yeah. I love that because we kind of think of the goal as the destination, but it's the steps that you're taking to get there, and you're not going to change instantaneously. So don't be scared of the process.
Don't be scared of the process. And maybe we can talk about the process right now, because let's say we are someone that's envisioning a different lifestyle, looking to upgrade or do something differently to what we are in right now. What are some of those ingredients or those variables of input that can allow us to achieve that? You mentioned something about us being the product of our habits. Now, does discipline have a role in this space too?
Completely. So without self-discipline, you're dead in the water. So if you think about your goal or your vision, right, the accomplishment of that, the bridge between the two, that's self-discipline. You can't get there without it. You have to understand that, so what we said earlier, that where you are now in your life is this accumulation of habits and who you are. The goal isn't like an object. You have to transform into the goal. You have to change. And in order to change, it's challenging.
Yeah.
You have to make difficult choices when you don't want to make those choices. And discipline is the only way there, but not discipline by itself. You need compassion with discipline. That's the other side of the tree.
Something.
It's balanced. Discipline without compassion is cruelty. Compassion without discipline is just sentimental. So these two things work together to
Dynamic
get you...
tension,
Exactly, to get you where you want to be.
I love that, and people think that the discipline makes it more difficult, but it actually doesn't take a lot to rejig. It takes a couple of weeks, in fact, to start changing those habits. You don't need a huge amount of a shift to ensure uptake, but then the discipline makes it easy because you're not starting from 1 every time you need to make a difficult decision. You start at number 9 because you've done 1 to 9 every single day, and it makes it easier to do that. So this all speaks to a very conscious approach to life, mindfulness.
Right.
We often only access this towards the end of our journey when financially we've emancipated ourselves, we find our purpose and wow, okay. But we should be starting at that point. Why is it so important that we get this right, this shift in our heads?
So, I mean, understandably, we think, when I get over there, then I'll be able to relax.
Yeah.
You know, then I'll be able to live that life. But the reality is that over there, you have to embody that internally first.
It's now, not then.
There is only now. This idea of time, future, past, that's in your head.
Yeah, it doesn't exist at all.
It doesn't exist. And so if you can't embody this reality or this desired goal in your internal reality now, you can't embody it ever. You must believe it. That requires discipline. You need to be less distracted. You need to be distraction proof. That requires discipline. You can't be looking at all the shiny objects. You've got to be internal, grounded in yourself in this moment. They call that present moment awareness.
Yeah.
And you need to be comfortable there, even if, you're uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable, yeah.
You've got to be okay with that discomfort. That takes discipline. Over and over, you keep practicing that, and it is compounded, as you said. The challenge around that is you might fail 50 times, but as long as you do 51 times, then really you've succeeded. Every single failure that you go through, you experience that failure, and then it becomes a learning. But if you don't experience the failure,
well, you're failing at life. And here's the bottom line. The failure of life isn't measured at the end of life. It's measured every day in the only thing that really does exist, which is the moment.
Exactly.
And that lived experience is something you can tap into all the time. We see it, we are spoiled, obviously, to be connecting with some amazing people in these gateway moments in their life and tapping into that. But it's amazing when we look back, that common thread of people just being able to step into the moment and be present, absolutely amazing. I think we've got the one job that forces you to do it. So we love the fact that this is becoming a conversation that everybody is having right now. So if you need to speak to someone right now, connect with those that can help you who do exist in that moment. Warren, you're awesome, buddy.
Thanks.
Have the most amazing day. Hopefully today's discussion has not made discipline this big, scary demon in your life, but rather that first step towards unlocking your potential.